Imagine yourself as a father of 2 children during the dark time of World War II, fighting to survive to Nazis in Germany with your wife and a little children, only to end up alone and unable to protect your own family. It's an unimaginable pain, right? This is the story of Otto Frank.
The history of Otto Frank is a tragedy that talks about the horrors of the Holocaust. He faced severe difficulties and losses that had major impact on his life, losing his family and suffering unimaginable torment. His survival is a proof of heroism and his incredible ability to face complicated situations in difficult circumstances. Otto Frank not only survived the war, but he also preserved his daughter, Anne Frank's diary, sharing his family's story with the world and ensuring that her memories will be never forgotten.
Otto Frank was born on May 12 in 1889 in Frankfurt, Germany. He was the second of Michael Frank and Annie Betty's 4 children. He and his family were Jews, so we can imagine that he suffered deeply during the tragedy of the Holocaust, principally because he lost his whole family. He served in the Imperial German Army during the World War I, along with his 2 brothers. After the war, Otto married Edith Hollander, who had 2 daughters, Margot and Annie. He was a good father and a successful businessman before being forced to go to Amsterdam to escape the Nazi persecution.
During the rise of Nazism, Otto and his family decided to go to Amsterdam. During this period, Otto opened an herb production company, where they built a secret annex behind the building of her father's company. To reach the hideout, the family had to climb a hidden staircase and pass through a secret revolving door that led them to a 3-bedroom space, where they lived for 2 years. But unfortunately, the hiding place was reported by acquaintances, and Otto and his family were deported to concentration camps. Otto was in Auschwitz, the largest network of concentration camps from this period, which are still located in southern Poland. Is the greatest symbol of cruelty of the Holocaust carried out by Nazis during the Sad War. In 1940, Adolf Hitler built many concentration and extermination camps in this area, precisely for the intention of extinguishing Jews in Germany, and where Hitler still had the proposal to invade. As in convention prisons, the occupation already exceeded the supported capacity.
Eines Tages sehr down, konnte nicht mehr. Ich bin geschlagen worden am Tag vorher und das hat mich sehr auch moral. Und da habe ich gesagt, ich kann nicht aufstehen. Da haben meine Kameraden, alles Holländer natürlich, ich war ja schließlich doch Deutscher unter Holländern, aber ich bin vollkommen aufgenommen worden von den anderen, gesagt, das geht nicht, du musst aufstehen, sonst bist du verloren. Und dann sind sie zu einem holländischen Arzt gegangen, der mit dem deutschen Arzt zusammengearbeitet hat. Und dieser holländische Arzt kam zu mir in die Baracke. Er hat gesagt, steh auf und komm morgen früh an die Krankenbaracke sozusagen. Ich werde mit dem deutschen Arzt sprechen, dass du aufgenommen wirst. Und so ist es gekommen. Und dadurch bin ich auch gerettet worden.
There he was tortured and mistreated by Nazi soldiers with a lot of other people. And there he was separated from his family with cold and hungry. While Otto was going through this and much more, his daughters were dying of typhus, a cruel bacterial disease transmitted by lice feces, which penetrated the body, then invade the respiratory tract and eyes, causing fever and intense headache. It starts on the chest and spread through the body. It can cause hemorrhages, pneumonia, and, in the worst case, the death. What happened with Anne and her sister, and to make it worse, his wife was separated from him too.
Happily, Otto began receiving extra food from one of the 7,000 of Nazi soldiers, Peter von Pels, which helped him survive. He only managed to leave after the end of the war, which the defeat of Germany in 1945 saw as they lost territory. Peoples in the camp were freed by the Allied forces. This liberation was done by both Americans and Soviets in Auschwitz, was carried out by the Ukrainian Front Army on January 27. He only found out about his wife's death when a woman who was in prison with her escaped and confirmed the terrible news.
Là, il y avait des gens avec des bâtons, des messieurs ici, des femmes là. Alors c'était le dernier convoqué de la famille, naturellement.
Et là, vous les avez perdus, vous les avez plus vus?
Non,
C'était fini.
depuis ça, c'était le dernier.
After all these sufferings, Otto Frank faced a long process of emotional and physical recovery. Despite the scare left by the Holocaust, he found strength to rebuild his life. Otto returned to Amsterdam, where he resumed business and dedicated himself to preserving the family's memory. He published Anne Frank Diary, a work that became a powerful symbol of the Holocaust and inspired millions of people around the world. Even after so much suffering, Otto Frank found a greater purpose of keeping his family history alive and sharing it with the world.
I knew that Anna wrote a diary. She spoke about her diary. She left her diary with me at night in a briefcase next to my bed. I had promised her never to look in. I never did. When I returned, and after I had the news that my children would not come back, Miep gave me the diary, which had been saved by, I should say, a miracle. It took me a very long time to read it. And I must say, I was very much surprised about the deep thoughts Anna had, her seriousness, especially her self-criticism. It was quite a different Anna I had known as my daughter. She never really showed this kind of inner feeling. She talked about many things, we criticized many things, but what really their feelings were, I only could see from the diary.
The history of Otto Frank is a tragedy that talks about the horrors of the Holocaust. He faced severe difficulties and losses that had major impact on his life, losing his family and suffering unimaginable torment. His survival is a proof of heroism and his incredible ability to face complicated situations in difficult circumstances. Otto Frank not only survived the war, but he also preserved his daughter, Anne Frank's diary, sharing his family's story with the world and ensuring that her memories will be never forgotten. Otto Frank's history reminds us of the importance of resisting injustice and keeping the memory of the victims of Holocaust alive.
To finish, here is some images that a survivor of the Holocaust put in his book.